Hi there, I'm Mr. Mark. I'm going to be doing catapults today. I'm going to show you how they work. I have one that's already made here. Going to tell you a little bit about what you could use to make catapults. Hopefully there's some things that you have at your house you could make, and you could try different ones and see how they work. So let's look at what we have here, and these are some things that you could use and some things I've already used. So first we have craft sticks or popsicle sticks, and I have the slightly broader ones from what I'm using. And these are good. If you see this catapult here, they're good for making your platform, your base. They're pretty solid. And then rubber bands. I have lots of rubber bands on hand here because good and stretchy. They can tie things together, and sometimes you might be able to use them for some resistance as well. Just good to have those on hand. I have plastic spoons here. And this is used to hold your payload, your ammunition. You'll see I have one on here. But you could use a craft stick, and you could hot glue like a bottle cap, something to hold what you're going to shoot, anything that'll work with that. And then you need something to raise up what you're using there, to raise your arm up. You can see I use some popsicle sticks, cardboard rolls, paper towel rolls might work. Anything else you could use, like I've seen like a sponge baseball being used, something that'll raise that arm up a little bit, that moves a little bit, something that has a little bit of a give to it. When I do one here in a minute, I found this empty Mentos container that I'm going to use. It's a pretty good size for what works. So let's look at our catapult here that we have made. And you can see this one is just craft sticks and rubber bands, and then the plastic spoon here. So this is the arm, and then we have our frame, and we needed some height on it, so I went ahead and rubber banded several. I think there's almost 10 popsicle sticks there together. And that gives it that little bit of resistance there. You might have to play around with where you want your arm at to shoot your ammunition, your payload, whatever you're shooting. And so with your catapult, when you're shooting it, just like with the castles in medieval times, you wanted to shoot your ammunition in an arc up over the walls of the castle. So it's going to pull it up, and it's going to go up and over something. That's why we want that height, and we also want that resistance, a little bit of a bounce to it, okay? So let's go ahead and look at the one I'm going to try to make here. So I got one plastic spoon. I'm just starting with one craft stick for our platform. It's going to be our base. And then I'm going to use the Mentos container here. It's empty. And a couple of rubber bands. So very first, I'm going to take a rubber band here. And you have to bear with me as I get it in place to how I want it. So I'm just wrapping rubber band. We might have to move this. I'm just trying to get it in place so I can work with it. And wrapping it around just so I have it on there on the bottom. Like that. Okay. Now then, so we're using the Mentos container to raise up our spoon, which is our arm for our catapult. It's going to be doing the shooting, so we want to get it under there. And you got to hold it. You got to use both hands in here. And so now I'm going to try to get this rubber band down here below this part of the spoon and around behind the Mentos container. And like I said, we'll have to play around with it to see if we like it there. So I'm trying to create some resistance from here and also some height, so there's a little bit of a bounce to it. And I'm going to see how far I can get that Mentos container up there, trying not to break the spoon, of course, but trying to get a little bit of a push to it. And then we might have to adjust our other rubber band. And that's kind of the cool thing about playing around with these. You can play around with it and see what works, experiment, and that way you know for the next time what works and what doesn't work. So let's see, it's holding there, a little bit of a bounce. We'll see how it works. We might try the other one first. Let me set that one aside. So now, what are we missing? We're missing our ammunition, aren't we? Our payload that goes in here. So I have some plastic beads. Let me get one here, and I'm going to set it down here in spoon. And with this, you probably want to hold on to this way, and then, of course, because it's rolling around, so we'll see how it shoots. I'm going to count to 3, and then we'll let it go, all right? 1, 2, 3, and try one more here. Let me put a green one in there. I'm going to turn a little more of an angle so you can see it there. So I'm going to hold down the front. I'm going to pull it back slowly because it's red. If it's not round, it won't wobble around as much, but that's up to you. And then I'm gonna count to 3. 1, 2, 3, and let go. All right, so that's how you make a mini catapult. Like I said, you can do it with different things, craft sticks, rubber bands, whatever you have to build your platform, and then you need your arm and get some resistance. Play around with it and have fun with it. See what works. You can even measure to see how far something goes. Try, different ones. If you have brother or sister doing with you, have contests to see who shoots it further. And thank you for watching me today.